Caitlin Clark is redefining the story of basketball. Her breathtaking performances and fearless approach have captured the attention of fans, analysts, and even NBA legends who rarely weigh in on the women's game. Few players in history have stirred such a blend of admiration and debate among the sport's biggest voices. From her record-shattering numbers to her groundbreaking influence on the court, Clark is ushering in a new era for women's basketball. Yet, her rise has not been without challenges. Doubters and critics have tried to downplay her impact, until two of the game's greatest icons, Michael Jordan and Larry Bird, stepped forward. Their words about Clark are nothing short of transformative. Amid the buzz surrounding her name, Michael Jordan finally broke his silence, and his perspective shifts everything. He not only praised Clark for what she has brought to the WNBA but also called out the league's officiating, insisting referees have been unfair and that it's time for change. His defense of Clark sends a powerful message. The WNBA must both honor her contributions and ensure she is given the respect she's earned from peers and officials alike. When the greatest of all time speaks up on behalf of a player, it signals more than approval. It confirms that Caitlin Clark is altering the game in ways that can no longer be ignored. Her impact is reminiscent of Allen Iverson, the electrifying NBA star who revolutionized basketball in his own era. Like Clark, Iverson rose to stardom during his college years and entered the professional league under immense scrutiny. Though neither was the most physically imposing athlete, both commanded respect with relentless skill and unwavering determination. Iverson's legendary crossover left defenders stumbling and forced the NBA to rethink how guards attacked the game, drawing from the essence of street ball. Similarly, Caitlin Clark has become a beacon for young girls everywhere, inspiring them with her fearless style and brilliant basketball IQ. Even Iverson himself has acknowledged her rare talent. In a recent interview, he praised what makes her special, emphasizing her unique skill set and unshakable mentality.
Shoot the blood out of the ball. You know what I mean? I never seen anything like it. You know what I mean? And then just how aggressive she is, and not just scoring in basketball, getting her teammates involved as well. I think she's so great for the game. You know what I mean? It was a pleasure watching her, and I just think
Allen Iverson knows what it means to be the engine of an offense, and he sees those same qualities in Caitlin Clark. At his peak, Iverson carried the scoring load for his team much like Clark is doing now, and he's been quick to praise her relentless aggression on the court. That mindset, he says, is essential for any player asked to be their team's primary scorer. But Iverson also pointed out what separates the good from the great: elite playmaking. Even as the youngest player on her team, Clark has a rare ability to elevate those around her with sharp vision and unselfish decision-making. Players like Iverson and Clark are what coaches call floor raisers. They don't just put up numbers, they make everyone around them better with their skill and basketball IQ. Iverson himself famously dragged a flawed roster all the way to the NBA Finals by combining unstoppable scoring with relentless determination. He believes Clark can do the same in time. To him, her best days are still ahead, and as she continues to grow, she'll not only elevate her own game but lift her team with her. The real question now falls on the Indiana Fever. Will they surround their young superstar with the right supporting cast to maximize her potential? Charles Barkley, another NBA legend and one of the most recognizable voices in sports, has also taken notice of Clark's meteoric rise. With more than 2 decades of experience as both an analyst and an all-star, Barkley offers a unique perspective. He's lived through the spotlight, weathered controversies, and reinvented himself in the media world as a candid, charismatic voice for fans. That's why his admiration for Clark carries weight. He's not just impressed with her game, he's struck by how she manages the off-court demands that come with stardom. Handling the media, engaging with fans, and carrying sky-high expectations at such a young age is no easy task, yet Clark does it with the poise of a seasoned veteran. Barkley knows the balancing act well, and seeing Clark excel on both fronts clearly leaves a lasting impression on the Hall of Famer.
She never says a word. And now, when I watch her, 2 things. She's playing much faster.
Yeah.
Much faster. She was playing too slow the first half of the season.
I think she was tired. I think she was banged up from the college season.
They didn't even give her the understanding, like, you girls been worded for the WNBA season. Y'all been working out.
Allen Iverson knows what it means to be the engine of an offense, and he sees those same qualities in Caitlin Clark. At his peak, Iverson carried the scoring load for his team much like Clark is doing now, and he's been quick to praise her relentless aggression on the court. That mindset, he says, is essential for any player asked to be their team's primary scorer. But Iverson also pointed out what separates the good from the great: elite playmaking. Even as the youngest player on her team, Clark has a rare ability to elevate those around her with sharp vision and unselfish decision-making. Players like Iverson and Clark are what coaches call floor raisers. They don't just put up numbers, they make everyone around them better with their skill and basketball IQ. Iverson himself famously dragged a flawed roster all the way to the NBA Finals by combining unstoppable scoring with relentless determination. He believes Clark can do the same in time. To him, her best days are still ahead, and as she continues to grow, she'll not only elevate her own game but lift her team with her. The real question now falls on the Indiana Fever. Will they surround their young superstar with the right supporting cast to maximize her potential? Charles Barkley, another NBA legend and one of the most recognizable voices in sports, has also taken notice of Clark's meteoric rise. With more than 2 decades of experience as both an analyst and an all-star, Barkley offers a unique perspective. He's lived through the spotlight, weathered controversies, and reinvented himself in the media world as a candid, charismatic voice for fans. That's why his admiration for Clark carries weight. He's not just impressed with her game, he's struck by how she manages the off-court demands that come with stardom. Handling the media, engaging with fans, and carrying sky-high expectations at such a young age is no easy task. Yet Clark does it with the poise of a seasoned veteran. Barkley knows the balancing act well, and seeing Clark excel on both fronts clearly leaves a lasting impression on the Hall of Famer.
Why do you think people love Caitlin Clark, besides her skills?
She can shoot threes from logo.
We never seen that before. That's my point. Steph Curry, a little kid. Like Steph Curry, I love, you know why I love Steph Curry? Because I've never seen that before. I've never seen that before. I've seen it a little bit in Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, but I've never seen a guy consistently come down. And if you look at, like if you saw Steph on the street, he ain't got the LeBron muscles. He's not 6'9", he's 6'10". He look like a perfect, normally office guy. Yeah. He's doing stuff that people never seen before. She's doing stuff we've never seen before. Never seen nobody do that on a consistent.
Shaquille O'Neal's discussion revealed several compelling insights. Chief among them his recognition of Caitlin Clark's ability to achieve feats no other WNBA player has managed. Even Angel Reese, Clark's fiercest rival, has acknowledged this. Still, Reese's remarks often seem to downplay Clark's talent, brushing it off with the line, "She can shoot threes from the logo." Yet that skill is anything but ordinary. It's a remarkable display of precision and dedication, honed through relentless practice, and it deserves to be celebrated as a legitimate, game-changing weapon. Reese herself knows this. Clark's extraordinary shooting range is one of the biggest reasons she has drawn massive new audiences to the WNBA. Shaq's admiration, however, went beyond her shooting touch. His comments could also be seen as a subtle challenge to Reese, who has repeatedly insisted that Clark isn't solely responsible for the league's surge in popularity. But the fact remains, Reese cannot replicate Clark's deep shooting arsenal, and that gap may fuel some underlying tension in their rivalry. For Shaq, though, the takeaway is clear. Caitlin Clark is a pivotal figure in elevating the WNBA's visibility, excitement, and long-term appeal. The rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark has quickly become the centerpiece of the WNBA's rapid rise in relevance. In many ways, it mirrors the NBA's early struggles and eventual breakthrough. Back in the 1970s, professional basketball was far from the media powerhouse it is today. Live broadcasts often struggled to draw viewers. Everything changed with the arrival of 2 generational stars, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. Their legendary showdown in the 1979 NCAA Championship captured the nation's attention, shattered viewership records, and reignited interest in the NBA. A similar phenomenon is unfolding now in women's basketball. The recent women's NCAA tournament broke records of its own, igniting a media frenzy that has carried over into the WNBA. At the heart of this surge is the fiery rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Their simultaneous entry into the league has brought unprecedented attention, drawing direct comparisons to the Magic Bird era. The parallel has become so widespread that even Magic Johnson himself has acknowledged it, and unsurprisingly, he agrees. More than that, Magic has gone a step further, suggesting that Caitlin Clark possesses the potential to become the greatest player in WNBA history.
The most popular WNBA player, but she's not the best at this time. Just like Larry and I were not the best when we entered the league. We became the best later on by our play. Caitlin still has the...
Magic Johnson has long been one of the WNBA's biggest supporters, both as a fan and as the owner of the Los Angeles Sparks. For years, he predicted that the league would one day blossom into a thriving business much like the NBA is today, and that vision is beginning to take shape. Johnson recently spoke about the surging popularity of the WNBA, pointing directly to the spectacle of Caitlin Clark's rivalry with Angel Reese. He even compared it to his own legendary battles with Larry Bird, rivalries that not only captivated fans but reshaped the NBA's financial and cultural future. The hope now is that Clark and Reese can ignite a similar transformation in women's basketball, both on the court and at the business level. Johnson also highlighted another parallel: style of play. When he entered the NBA, his dazzling court vision and basketball IQ revolutionized offenses and cemented his place as the league's premier point guard, a title that still defines his legacy. With her elevated skill set and relentless drive, Caitlin Clark could do the same for the WNBA, influencing how players train, how coaches scheme, and ultimately how the game evolves. And while Magic's thoughts carry weight, he isn't the only legend recognizing Clark's impact. Larry Bird has also shared his perspective, further validating the comparisons to past NBA greats. But before diving into Bird's words, there's another voice worth noting, that of Chris Paul, the point god himself. Known as the model of a true floor general, Paul has spent his career dismantling defenses with elite scoring and surgical playmaking. In Clark, he sees a kindred spirit. Reflecting on her Rookie of the Year campaign, Paul compared her journey to his own, recognizing the similarities in pressure, expectation, and poise that Bond has even carried off the court. With both athletes tied to State Farm, the company asked Paul to deliver a personal congratulatory message to Clark on her Rookie of the Year award. It was a symbolic passing of the torch moment, connecting generations of point guards who have redefined their leagues.
I learned coming from one Rookie of the Year to another, even though mine was 19 years ago, one of the biggest things after winning Rookie of the Year, because that's a big deal, first of all. That's a huge achievement and you should be proud. But going forward, I think the biggest thing I tried to focus on was getting stronger. I wanted to get stronger, I wanted to get faster, I wanted to be better on defense. But more than anything,
that recurring concern about Caitlin Clark's physical training is one every basketball player can relate to. But Chris Paul took the conversation a step further. He offered guidance not just on handling the physical grind, but on managing the mental and emotional toll that comes with being a young basketball prodigy. His words carried the weight of experience, revealing a genuine respect for Clark and a desire to see her succeed not only this season, but throughout her entire career. Paul's message wasn't simply about congratulating her Rookie of the Year award, it was about celebrating her potential, encouraging her to stay grounded, and reminding her that greatness is built on balance, resilience, and longevity.
Crazy. Most points by a rookie in WNBA history, most assists by a rookie in WNBA history, 3-time Eastern Conference Player of the Week, 4-time WNBA Rookie of the Month. I could go on and on, so shout out to you, Caitlin. It's been amazing to watch you hoop day in and day out, and not just to see the behind the back going left, threes from deep, but more so just to see the passion and the joy.
Chris Paul didn't just congratulate Caitlin Clark on her Rookie of the Year award, he broke down her game like a true fan. He listed off the long string of accomplishments she piled up in her first season and even pointed out specific moves she's already mastered on the court. The respect in his tone was obvious. Paul sounded less like a veteran talking to a rookie and more like a genuine admirer of her skill, acknowledging that her highlight reels and rapid rise put her in rare company. Clark is following the path of basketball's most hyped prospects, names like LeBron James and Michael Jordan, players who came into the league with expectations so high they completely shifted the game itself. But Chris Paul wasn't the only legend to weigh in. Another giant, Julius Erving, Dr. J himself, offered his perspective, particularly after Clark was controversially left off the women's Olympic team. While some saw the snub as a setback, Dr. J framed it as an opportunity. "I think she's probably going to be a part of the next 3 Olympic teams," he reassured, adding that 3 would be plenty because there's risk associated with being a part of this particular Olympic team, so slow your roll a little bit. His message to Clark was simple: she's already accomplished more than most in a single year, and there's no need to rush. Erving reminded her, and the world, that careers in basketball take many turns, and patience often brings greater rewards. He also hinted at something bigger. Clark's influence extends beyond the WNBA. Like himself during his playing days, she has the potential to become a cultural figure, someone whose celebrity and impact stretch beyond the hardwood. That sentiment was echoed by Vince Carter, the human highlight reel, who transformed the Toronto Raptors into a global brand in the late 1990s. Carter didn't just dominate the court, he built a culture around the game, elevating basketball's visibility with his electrifying dunks and becoming a fan favorite worldwide. In Clark, Carter sees that same energy. He's called her the marquee player of the WNBA, the face of a league entering a new era. Of course, with that spotlight comes constant scrutiny, something Carter, Dr. J, and every generational star before her understands all too well. But as history shows, it's often under that weight of criticism that greatness shines brightest.
People have been hating on Caitlin.
This is what happens to a rookie.
Yeah.
This is what happens to a rookie. This is what happens to the
Vince Carter's legendary run as Toronto's first true basketball icon wasn't without hardship. Behind the highlight reels and superstar status were real struggles, growing pains that came with carrying the weight of a franchise on his shoulders. That perspective gives Carter a unique understanding of what Caitlin Clark is facing now. He's quick to point out that the rookie hazing Clark endures is nothing new. It's the reality for every newcomer, especially those who arrive with the spotlight already blazing. For Carter, it's not a sign of weakness but a rite of passage, one that every great player must push through on their way to lasting stardom.
Earn your stripes, and remember this. I say this all the time. You come. This is not I say this understanding NIL is what it is.
Right.
But when you go to the professional world and you're in competition against other professionals who are trying to feed their family,
mortgage
It'll
payments.
give you the business.
What?
Every time.
I gotta feed my family.
And they not about to let you look
So
good.
if
You're not
the
about to
marquee
look
player,
good.
well, get
The jump from college basketball to the professional stage is always daunting, but for Caitlin Clark the stakes are even higher. In the WNBA, the competition is sharper, the spotlight brighter, and the pressure heavier than anything she faced at Iowa. Every opponent now treats her as the player to beat, and with the league's growing coverage, those high-pressure moments will only intensify. Very few players have managed to dominate both in college and in the pros, but Clark is proving herself as one of those rare exceptions. Magic Johnson understands that challenge well. Though his rookie season was dazzling, he didn't take home Rookie of the Year honors because he shared the spotlight with his fiercest rival, Larry Bird. Bird, meanwhile, wasted no time rewriting the NBA's story. He spearheaded one of the greatest franchise turnarounds in history with the Boston Celtics in the 1980s, establishing himself as an MVP candidate from day one. From there, Bird's legacy only grew. Multiple MVP awards, 3 championship rings, and a reputation as one of basketball's most transformative figures that it's easy to see why Bird is often compared to Clark. Both brought immediate dominance to the professional level, both had defining rivalries that fueled their rise, and both reshaped the way their sport was played. Bird stretched the floor with his shooting and orchestrated offenses with his passing, forcing defenses to adapt to his vision. Clark is doing the same in the WNBA, revolutionizing how guards attack, space, and create. Their impact wasn't just quick, it was revolutionary. The connection between the two runs even deeper. Bird, famously born and raised in French Lick, Indiana, has always been the pride of the state. He played his college ball at Indiana State, later returned to coach and run the Indiana Pacers, and remains deeply tied to the region's basketball identity. Now, Indiana basketball has a new star in Caitlin Clark, who plays just down the road for the Indiana Fever. Bird's admiration for her is no secret. He followed her Iowa games closely, nearly as much as his beloved Indiana State. For a legend who embodies Indiana basketball to show that level of enthusiasm speaks volumes about Clark's impact, not just on the court but on the culture of the game in his home state.
Indiana State and Iowa, Caitlin Clark played about the same last year, so I was watching a lot of basketball.
Caitlin Clark's brilliance on the court is undeniable to anyone who loves basketball. And in Indiana, a state where the game borders on religion, her arrival feels almost destined. Just as Larry Bird once stepped into the professional ranks and immediately began carving his legacy, Clark is now following a similar path. The parallels are clear, and even Bird himself has acknowledged her greatness. Clark has already captivated the basketball world with her talent, competitiveness, and relentless dedication. The admiration pouring in from some of the NBA's greatest legends underscores the magnitude of her rise. They see in her not just a star, but a player capable of reshaping the game itself. While her journey is only beginning, Clark's trajectory points toward a future where women's basketball reaches new heights, just as Magic Johnson and Larry Bird once elevated the NBA into a global phenomenon. Caitlin Clark is on track to secure her place among the game's all-time greats. The legends of today are already enamored with her, and as she continues to blaze her trail, more voices will join the chorus proclaiming her greatness. She is not just building a career, she is building a legacy, one that promises to redefine women's basketball for generations to come.